video, we're going to talk about more movement in terms of where, why, how to move based on based on the spaces that the other team is giving you, um, and how those spaces are exploited and what you want to get out of it. Let's keep in mind that whenever you create a pattern or whenever you want to move pieces on the field, you want output. You want to gain something from it. And the difficulty of this is being able to get the ball into what you want to gain, which is space to be able to play the ball behind the line and score a goal. That's the ultimate goal of the game. So on the screen, you will see Man City in yellow and Chelsea in blue. These are the two wingers. This is William Pulisic, center forward, right right 8, the 6, left 8. We can call those differently, and obviously the back 4. In Man City, you have the back line of 4 with 3 midfielders, the usual Man City setup. Mahrez was caught in this position at that moment in the clip that we're going to analyze, and this was Sterling, and Kevin De Bruyne was out on the width. So the ball's played from this central area to the left back. And why that space is on so much, because William, or the right winger, was caught too narrow inside, because the man was looking to press, and he was looking to prevent this pass. Let's take a look at the clip. And there's the ball's played, and these are the actions that you see. You will see the movements, and those are the movements we're going to discuss. So right there, you will see you gained something out of that movement, okay? So the ball's played across. The moment the ball is played there, a central midfielder jumps to put pressure on the ball. That opens up space. Now, if you notice, this player left his player and cut the line and created an opening here. So now that we know, we have this space, okay? Now, in terms of making decisions as a player, you have to identify the references, and you have to identify, okay, what makes sense at this moment. That's why every movement is not exactly the same. And in terms of teaching, when we go down to a lower level, you have to think about the references of the game and how you teach your players to move. Obviously, these are high-level players, so they understand all these references and they make a lot of good decisions on the ball. But for us, it's important to understand and get a little bit deeper into why they make this movement. So the first one is the winger was too far over. The space is on the width. A central midfielder goes. The idea of the rotation makes sense. Central midfielder goes. Conte covers. Weak side midfielder gets in. Okay, but by the time that happens, assuming you have very good players and you're able to execute the fast ball circulation, this space opens up. So what makes sense for him? Maybe to stay, because at the same time, this player needs to scan his references. The man, the other team, in front of him, behind him, beside him, where he is on the field, what space. We know that there's space. And now you need to identify, okay, what is he doing? And you will see that he supports immediately right away into this space. Okay? Because that happens and the spaces are getting tighter, the weak side player also just gets lowered into the space. Now here's an interesting thing, that you cannot tell this player, if he moves here, this player needs to drop. You cannot tell him that, because sometimes if there's comfort on the ball, there's time and space of the ball, he can stay high, he can get to his space, and you are able to get out. What happens is, if the player makes this decision and he's already here, it's gonna be easy to mark. Okay, now that also causes other spaces to open up, but it also, that now you're saying another player needs to get lower, another need to be player needs to get away from the back line, and that's not always what you want. So when this happens, because of the time and space here, he decides to stay because there's a lot of space there. Now this causes this player to move into this space. Remember, we talked about the pressure cover here. He decides to move into this space. And now you're creating a situation where you have a lot of options here. You will see some sort of combinations here. And this action pulls a player from the back line, which is what you want. You want to gain something out of movements. And this happens. So now this creates a very big opening, which is exactly what you want to be able to penetrate. Now, in an ideal situation, you want to get the ball there. You will see Mahrez here in this clip. He could have made that run, and maybe there's a situation where a pass is made into this space. Unfortunately, that doesn't happen, but this is the idea of movement based on references of the game, based on what the other team is giving you, and obviously the most important part, being able to execute that part, which is technique, and make your decisions based on what you see. And what you see, we have already discussed. Another action that could be possible is that if you do play behind, that's great. Now you have a good look in goal. But if that doesn't happen, you need to identify if there's enough comfort on the ball or around the ball, specifically in a sector. So let me draw this space here. In this space, are you able to gain something here? Are you able to get out of this space? If you are able to do that, okay, in these channels without leaving the ball, without moving the ball out of this channel, then that's fine. If that doesn't happen, that's when we teach switch the ball out of pressure. And that's another part where the moment we see too many numbers, we say get out of pressure. But if there are numbers, but you're able to gain something, maybe a through ball, maybe an extra pass, play the ball to the width, or one pass behind the line, if you can gain that, if you can get a goal scoring opportunity or penetration from here, do it. If not, then we go to the next part, which is playing out of pressure. Thank you guys. I hope this is good information for you guys, and I'll see you on the next one.